All
Welcome
right.
to Dr. Zap Podcast. Your hosts for today's podcast are Bradley, Joselle, and Jackson. Today we have a great opportunity to interview Austin Calitro, a former NFL player. Welcome, Mr. Calitro. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. We really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I come from the same middle school there, so didn't do this back in the day, so it's pretty cool to see how far you guys come.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from?
I'm originally I was born in Florida, me and my twin sister, and then we were adopted, and then we were raised in Danbury, Connecticut, and that's where I grew up from. The time I moved there. I think I was like a one, until I left for college. So it was fun. It was I was still in best friends with all my high school buddies and middle school buddies, and Danbury is a great place to grow up in.
Did you play football in college, and what college did you go to?
I did. I played football at Villanova University.
How did you become a linebacker?
Growing up, I played just about everything from safety to linebacker to quarterback, running back. But when you are projected to play in college, they do a lot of that based on size and speed, and I was faster and I was somewhat big. I'm six. I was back then. I was 6'1", 230. Little less weight now, but yeah. So and then I liked contact as well. I was able to do it and be pretty healthy doing it. So the coaches naturally saw linebacker as a fit for me.
What was your inspiration for deciding a career as a football player?
To be honest with you, I just wanted football to pay for college. I knew that I could help my parents out if they didn't have to pay for college. So for me, it was just all about getting good grades in school and essentially just making sure that I went to a good enough school where I can, college where I can play football, be competitive, go for national championships, which, we did. And at the same time, come out with a great degree. And Villanova provided that for me. I was able to play in the NFL after, but, now it also provided me the foundation to be a medical sales rep, which is what I do now. And I don't know if I could have done that without a Villanova education.
Can you describe your job as a former NFL player?
Yeah. So basically, I signed as an undrafted free agent, so I had to work pretty hard to get on the team. But once I did, my second year or my first year, I was on practice squad. So basically, you just practice, you don't play too much. But my second year on, I was on active rosters. I was playing in the regular season games, playoff games, and essentially what you do is I'll walk you through the week. Wednesday starts the week for us. That's when we practice for the first day. Um, and more times than not, you gotta be, I play with greats like Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Navarro Bowman, and they instilled in me that, linebackers, since we were the leaders of the defense, we had to be the first ones in the building. So more times than not, I would try to be in the building by like 6 o'clock. And from 6 to 7:30, you're watching a film, you're in the training room, you're eating your breakfast, you're just trying to get your body ready for the day. And then, from 8 o'clock 8 o'clock to like 11, there's meetings that you guys have. In these meetings, we'd watch film, we'd go over the game plan for the week. And Wednesdays predominantly focused on first and second down. So in the NFL, they break it up since third down is a completely different animal. First and second down are pretty much just, they try to keep the same plays consistent. But third down is a different animal. So on Thursday, I'm sorry, let me backtrack. And then from, normally practice was, in the afternoon because we would try to practice the same time that we would play. So practice started usually around 1:30. Practice for 2 hours, and then after that, you'd watch, probably another 2 or 3 hours of film. You get done for the day around 5, and then more times than not, if you want to stay healthy, you'd have to stay after and take care of your body. So from 5 to 6:37, I'd stay and take care of my body. Go to the training room, ice tub, all that good stuff. And then Thursday looked very similar in terms of meetings and practice. It was just that, so first and second down was Wednesday, and then Thursday was third down, and then Friday was a very short day. You're usually done by
Uh,
1 o'clock. Um, and Fridays, just red zone day and red zone and quick walkthrough basically and quick practice. Saturday, go to the whole early morning walkthrough. You go to the team hotel that night. You sleep over at the team hotel. Sunday's game day, and then Monday you come back and you watch the film. You lift. You're done for the day. Usually around 2. Then Tuesday's your off day, and then that's kind of how it goes throughout the 17, 18 week season.
Which teams did you play for in the NFL, and which one was your favorite?
So I played for 9 different teams. I want to say I was like 3 teams away from the record. But I signed as an undrafted free agent to the Jets. I thought I was going there to play linebacker. They thought they can make me a fullback, so we agreed to split ways there. And then after that, I went to the 49ers. I played there for the preseason. I led the team in tackles in the preseason, but they didn't want to sign me to the active roster. So I went to the Seahawks, hoping I had a better chance there to get on the active roster. But I signed as a practice squad guy, and then I hurt my ankle, so I got released. And then I signed for the rest of that year and the most of the next year, most of the next offseason to the Cleveland Browns. And then after that, I went to Seattle, where I earned a spot and was on the roster. And then I went to Jacksonville. Same thing, active roster. I started like 10 games between those two teams. Where did I go after Jacksonville? I went to Cincinnati, where I had a really good preseason. I was gonna make the team. I asked the coach, and I'm sitting up, I'm sitting there packing my hotel room they put us up in, and all of a sudden I get a call from my coach saying, "Hey, bring your playbook in." And usually when they tell you to bring your playbook in, you think you're getting cut. But they said, we ended up trading you to Denver. So I got traded to Denver, spent the year there, and then I went to Chicago the next year, I got hurt, and then went back to Cincinnati where we went to the Super Bowl. And then my last year, which is year 6, I played for the Giants, which is my hometown, it was my team growing up. And then I finished the last 4 or 5 weeks with the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry. So yeah, those are all the teams.
What is an NFL's player schedule like?
Say it again.
What's an NFL's player schedule like?
It's very similar to, throughout the week what I said earlier, but during this you have the season, then you have the off season. So for the off season, when my first 3 years I was living in California because that's where I would train and that's where all my doctors were. And then I met my now fiance and moved back east. And we have a home here, a son, and all that. But I would come back east, and I had the same doctors. I had different trainers. But yeah, really, it's just in the off season you want to make sure you're doing everything you can. I try not to take too much time off. I had a coach, Greg Williams, that said the second you enjoy your days off is the second you're out of the league. So I tried to limit my time off to about 2 weeks, let my body recoup, and then I would just start doing like smaller exercises that let get those pains away. And I would say from the end of February, if we were in the playoffs, it was different. But in the end of February to the end of March, the beginning of April, I'd work out pretty hard, and then take a week off, and then head back to football. The second week of April, and from April until June, you're there. You get a week, you get a month break, and then you're right back to it in August.
What's the biggest challenge of your job?
I would say it was that it's such a competitive league. Everyone wants a spot. There's only 53 roster spots and only 32 teams, so you do the math. But I would say the most difficult part and the most important part for me and every NFL player is just being the same person every day. It's such a high risk, high reward environment that we're in. It's so volatile. And coaches, their livelihood depends on us. So they want, as a coach, you want the same person every single day, and somebody you don't have to worry about, who's going to show up that day, and what kind of person are they going to be on game day, and that's at the end of the day, that's what we got paid for, and that's what coaches, lost and kept their jobs on is what you do on Sundays. So, for me, it was just being the same person every day, and then as an undrafted guy, you're gonna have to deal with some stereotypes that come with that, just because you weren't anyone's first pick. So really, it was being consistent and then just proving, year in and year out, and day in and day out that you're more than worth of being on a roster.
What was your favorite memory of the NFL?
My favorite memory, there's a couple. I think my first one might have been when Bobby Wagner called me after I made the team, the Seahawks. That was my first team I made, and he actually called me and broke the news. Um, and then I would say, I'd say the last one was the fact that we were able to go to the Super Bowl. That was fun.
What was middle school like for you? What are your favorite middle school memories?
My favorite middle school memory. Middle school was fun. I got to go with my childhood friends. I played travel baseball in Danbury, and most of my travel buddies went to Rogers Park, so I got to see my best friends who I still am best friends with today. It was a fun back then. It was different. We had clusters and all that, and we it was it was fun. We got to play on the playground and all that. But I would say the most fun part is just you're meeting people, you're meeting kids from other elementary schools, but eventually those friends you meet from other elementary schools become your best friends, and if you're lucky enough, they become your best friends through high school and college and the rest of your life. So those are the memories I cherish.
Did you ever get detention in middle school?
Yeah. Yeah, I got detention a couple times. I was late. I think one time I went to the bathroom and didn't ask. It was just, silly stuff, but try to avoid detention.
When you were in middle school, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I did I maybe I thought I would, I had braces in middle school and I thought it was cool what the orthodontist did. And it's kind of funny. I work heavily with oral surgeons now for my job. Um, I get to do a whole, I'm part of a procedure they do. So it's kind of ended up in that space, but for me it was either like an orthodontist or a lawyer or something like that.
What advice would you give to middle school students today?
I would just say, try try to build those work habits now. It doesn't have to be football, it doesn't have to be sports, but just try to build those work habits now of, if you want to do something extraordinary in life, you're gonna have to put the time in, you're gonna have to be patient, you're gonna have to be dedicated. And, having a different mindset now is only gonna help you when you're older. And also be a kid. Don't look forward to growing up because it's not as fun as when you guys are now.
Who was the coolest player you played against?
Um, I was young. It was early on in my career. The first time I saw him, but it was Aaron Rodgers. I was on the Brown, and I got to see Aaron Rodgers the first time, and that's when he was really slinging the football around at an elite level, and he still is. But seeing him for the first time was cool, and I got to play against Andrew Luck and just some really good quarterbacks, really, really, really good doubting. I got to play against Jared Goff on the Rams, which is nice. Um, I'm trying to think. Oh, Teddy Bridgewater. There's a couple guys that I think fans take for granted. But those guys and their mental preparation and seeing how they mentally manipulate the game was cool.
What was the best player you've tackled in the college or NFL?
In college, I would say who is the best player I tackled in college? There was a kid out of Towson University. His name's Terrence West. He played in the NFL for like 4 or 5 years, I think. He was pretty good. He's one of the better ones I've seen. Um, we played against Nick Boyle as well. He was a Ravens tight end for like 10 years. He was pretty good. Um, and then in the NFL, it was a bunch of them. I practiced against Saquon every day. When I was in the Giants, maybe Derrick Henry when he was in the Titans and I was in the Giants. Yeah, I played against some of the Jaguars too. So yeah, probably Derrick Henry or Saquon.
What was the biggest player you faced?
Biggest?
Yeah.
Uh, Probably my roommate from college. He was 6'9", 340 pounds.
See
So
how fine.
yeah, he was a big boy.
Six. Yeah.
Who was your favorite teammate?
In the NFL.
NFL or college?
NFL. I would say well, there's in college it was definitely my roommate. His name was Tano Passingo. He still played. He won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. He still plays on the Saints though. And then in the NFL it was either Bobby Wagner or KJ Wright. Those guys, they just took me under their wing, and um, it was cool to see how they went about their business and how they helped me develop as a to become a true pro.
What's your favorite football team to cheer for?
I don't have one anymore, unfortunately. I've been passed around the NFL and I got cut so many times. You know, I left with not a sour taste in my mouth, but it definitely showed me the business side of things. But if I had to choose, you know, I root for the Bengals now. I was on a team that made it to the Super Bowl. We had a special connection that year, and I really want those guys to finish it off now.
Did you like college football or NFL football better?
I think what you get paid in the NFL is fun, but you can probably get paid that in college. I don't know if I would have, but you can get paid that in college now. Making money was cool, and having an off season was cool. But you know, college is better. I think everybody there is there for the entire year. You guys go through the off season. You spend every waking moment together. And you know, you're there for 4 or 5 years with you know with guys that eventually become your brothers, and you guys are all going for the same goal. In the NFL, I think it's very much so. You got to worry about yourself, which, you know, as you should. You got a family, you know, people are 30, you know, 35 years old. I played up until I was 29. You know, you got families to feed and stuff like that. But in college, there's no worry besides going to class and then trying to win every, you know, every week that we played. And it was awesome.
Who is your favorite football player to watch?
Right now,
Um, yeah, right now.
on the offensive side of the ball, it's gotta be Saquon. You know, it's fun seeing what he can do, and Lamar Jackson's good too. I like Joe Burrow. You know, he's gonna be something great. And then there's some young players in there too, like Drake May. But you know, my favorite defensive player this year was Verse from the Rams. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know who he is, outside linebacker. He was a rookie. He was unreal.
What is your favorite football team's jersey style?
Uh, that I played for, the Seahawks are pretty cool. Um, The Bengals, that was a good uniform. But the Jaguars, when we went all black, black helmets, black pants, black jerseys, I like that combination.
What's your favorite stadium that you played in?
It's a good question. We played in a couple cool ones in London. You know, they're just different. I think where the Tottenham Spurs play, we played there. So that was cool. But then you know, bring it back to the United States. Seahawks, you know, Seattle was fun because that was my home field for 2 years. Um, But then away, I would say maybe probably the Viking Stadium, the US Bank.
Did you ever have like crazy wild fans in when you were playing?
Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, and when I was playing in Seattle and I was starting some games, I could just sometimes I'd be out getting gas, putting gas in my car, and people would come up to me and stuff. So it was fun, but it was also like, you know, you want to be a normal person too.
Oh, finally, what advice would you give to middle school student today who wants to play in the NFL one day?
You know, whether it's the NFL or anything, you know, you just got to find a way to separate yourself. When you want to do something that's so, you know, so elite and um you know, very, very far and few in between can do it. First of all, you got to recognize what you have, you know, when you have it. So if you got the size and speed and, you know, you have the, you know, and all you need is work ethic, that's kind of on you. I've seen a lot of guys from Danbury, you know, could have made it and didn't. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, hopefully I can be an example of what you can do if you just put your mind into something and put your work ethic into it. And, you know, that means waking up every day at 5:30 so you can be at the gym before school and, you know, get good grades, stay up late studying, and really just sacrifice your time. And sometimes, you know, I would always my dad would always tell me this, but you know, I'm going to tell my son the same thing, and I'll tell you guys the same thing. You know, sometimes on a Friday night, it's not worth it to, you know, to stay out late when you're in high school or something like that, and, you know, get a workout in, and just, you know, be willing to do what others aren't. And you know, if that's something you want to do is the NFL or anything else that very few people do, you know, you're gonna have to do what those other people won't. So
That concludes our discussion with Austin Calitro. We truly appreciate you spending time with us today to tell us a little bit about yourself and your profession.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed it. I was looking forward to this.
Thank you for tuning in into another great episode of Rogers That. See you next
See you
time.
next time.
Bye.
Okay.
Next meeting.
Thank you.
See you guys. Nice meeting you guys. Thank you so much for having me.